After pulling the spear out of the sea beast, Loak became its friend and he returns to the Tulkun clan to his parents. His absence and the reason why he was gone was told to everyone, and when he shows up, the chief of the Tulkun blames his son for leaving Loak in the middle of the ocean, but Loak says that it was his idea and takes the fault. And this fact makes the chief's children to become friends with him. The next day, Loak tells the story of what happened to him and describes the sea beast to other children, but the chief's children say that he should not be friends with that beast because it's an outcast. Loak returns to the ocean and wants to hear the story from the beast itself. They spend a lot of time together and Loak is desperate to prove others the beast is regretful of what he did. In the meanwhile, the colonel returns to the base with the spider and they have successfully narrowed down the search to the small villages around the ocean. They use all they got and start to interrogate the people of a small village to take informations from them. Of course, the colonel does not keep his promise to Spider and he treats the villagers like animals. He talks and Spider translates, and at the end, when he can't get the info that he needed, he burns the village down. The chief of Tulkun hears the news of this incident and now Jake's war has come to them too. At the same time, Loak talks to the sea beast and asks how did it become an outcast. And in a weird turn of events, the monster opens its mouth and devours Loak. Inside the beast, Loak bonds himself with the monster. Unlike this, he can see his memories. He sees that these monsters were just the tools of the massacres and they were not cause of them. They never wanted to harm anyone. After this information, Loak goes to talk about this to the chief, but the chief loses his mind and yells at him and says that his ancestors all died because of these monsters and Loak should have never bonded with them. On the other side of the war, the colonel gets closer and closer to Jake, and in his latest plan, he tries to hunt down and attach trackers to sea monsters to cover more ground. They follow a pack of the beasts and start their attack, and the level of technology of how they kill the monster is unbelievable. First, they shoot a sonic bomb to overwhelm the beast, and then they shoot them with a special spear that turns into balloons as soon as it hits the monster, so it can't go under. And at the end, they use a huge spear to shoot it from below to its stomach to finish the job. When they're done, they take the monster to analyze its brain and body. People in Tulkun clan find out about this incident and they now want to wage a huge war against the Sky people, but Jake talks them out of it and says that they need to protect their family first. Then he shows a tracker that he got out of one of the beasts and says that wherever they see this, they are in danger. And unlike other movies, these people actually act rationally and they listen to Jake. Loak then goes to inform its sea monster friend about the danger, but other children try to stop him and of course he is stubborn enough to go and others go after him. When Loak sees the monster, he finds a tracker on the beast. Then from the other part of the ocean, they see a huge warship approaching them with Colonel aboard. The children report to Jake and try to take out the spear. After a long struggle, they finally are able to take the spear out, and Loak goes under the water to distract the enemy. The colonel recognizes Jake's children, and now he knows that he hit the jackpot. He sends some crab-like robots underwater to take the children. I know it's a bit off of the recap, but who the hell thought it would be a good idea to take the little child with them? Anyways, after a long and beautiful chase scene under the water, Jake's children get captured with a net. Jake and other warriors of Tulkun just arrive, and then the colonel uses Loak's earpiece to talk to Jake. He tells him that if he wants his children alive, he has to go there alone. After some chit-chat with the chief and his wife, Jake convinces them not to attack and wait for him to go. He is approaching the ship and all of a sudden, that huge sea beast, Loak's friend, comes to the rescue and jumps on the ship. It kills lots of sky people and then the final battle begins. The ship is on fire and 3 fights are happening at the same time. One on the ship, one underwater and one in the sky. Jake and Neytiri are in the sky killing people and the colonel is after them. Kiri is underwater and uses her powers to kill the sky people with giant jellyfishes. And on the ship, Spider helps the Na'vi by forcing the ship to hit the rocks. The sea beast hunters are there as well, and they all sink, but the way they sink is one of the best scenes of the movie. Actually, one of them dies in the most brutal, most satisfying way possible. Just wonderful. Neytiri, Jake and Neytiri's oldest son, get on the ship and rescue Loak and others, and then they go to find Spider. But the colonel, who was beaten in the sky and fell in the water, came back on the ship, and now he has Kiri and that stupid dumb little kid who came when no one asked her. Loak and Neytiri save Spider, but when they are about to jump ship, Neytiri gets shot and they help him to get to land. Jake and Neytiri go there as well, but it's too late for him, and then he dies. The colonel talks to Jake again and tells him it's the same deal. If he goes there alone, he won't kill his daughters. Jake calms Neytiri down, and then they go to save Kiri and the dumb kid. They kill everyone and they reach the dumb kid. Kiri is not there with her. The colonel comes out holding a knife to Kiri's throat. Spider sees this and intervenes, but in a weird turn of events, Neytiri holds a knife to Spider's throat and threatens the colonel. A son for a son, she says. The colonel says that the spider means nothing to him, and then Neytiri leaves a cut on a spider and the colonel lets go of Kiri. Jake and his family are about to leave, but when the colonel threatens that he will hunt them again, Jake decides to finish the job once and for all. They start to fight for so long to a point that they keep fighting under the water. At the end, Jake wins and the colonel's body floats under the water. Spider finds his biological father's body floating and he can't let him die. So he takes his body to the surface, and when the colonel asks him to go with them, he responds like this. Also, Kiri saves her whole family with her powers, and the final scenes are about Neytiri's funeral. They bury him in the deep, and there, Jake and Neytiri can bond with that place and relive the memories of their son forever. That's the end of part 2 of our recap. Avatar: The Way of Water was a great sequel to a great movie by a wonderful director. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.